my dad was raised in Chatham County in North Carolina, and he came to Durham when he was a boy about 9 years old. And my mother was raised in Hyde County in eastern North Carolina, and she came to Durham when she was 18 to work. She had a job working at the Malvern Hotel in the restaurant there. Well, I've talked with both of my grandmothers, and they told me about the family tree when I was in college. About my senior year, I had to do a family tree on both lines, and I discussed in detail both with both grandmothers. That's how I know. Well, I was born in December 19th, 1937, and my mother was born in on April the 26th, 1911, and she died when she was 95. Her name was Gladys Brothers Rigsby, and her mother was born September the 15th, 1893. Her name was Gertrude Clark Brothers. She was 99 when she died. Her husband, we can't remember his birthday, but he lived to be 37, and he died. He was born in 1991. He died at the early age of 37. Now, on my dad's side, he was Stuart Charles Rigsby, and his birthday was August the 8th, 1909. His mother was Lizzie Elizabeth Williams Rigsby. She was born in 1889, and her husband was Charlie Odom Rigsby. He was born in 1887. Yes, we do. I joined the National Guard when I was 18, and at that time, if you joined before you were 18 and a half, you only had to serve 8 years in the National Guard, and so I fulfilled my obligation those next 8 years. And my Uncle J.D. and Uncle Marvin were both in the Army during the Second World War, and they were in the heart of the camp fighting both in Europe. They basically were the only ones in my family on either side that were in combat. I had sort of a hurtful thing happen to me about a month ago. I have a really good friend, and we play golf together, and we alternate driving to the golf course. It's about 20 miles away. And my wife was bugging me about how nasty my car was, and she was so embarrassed because Ricky, my golf partner, is such a neat fellow. She said, I'm just so embarrassed for him to have to ride in your car. And I told her, I said, don't worry about my car. My car is a work car. And she said, but you don't work. I've had more fun.
Yeah, I heard that story.
I've had a lot of fun. I'll tell everybody about that because that was so funny. As I said earlier, my dad came to Durham. He was about 9 years old, and he had a background of working in service stations and selling parts, and so during the Second World War, he had a job working for a big parts house, and we had Camp Butler only about 15 miles away. And so my dad, the reason he didn't serve in the during the war and active duty, he had a deferment because he called on all of the Camp Butler selling them automotive and truck parts. And when the Second World War concluded, he went to work at the Johnson Motor Company as a service manager, and after being service manager, he got a job working at a tire company, and he was the sales manager, and he mainly took care of state contract business. And he bought that end of the business out and opened a small tire company called Mohawk Tire Sales, and he sold Mohawk tires to the state on state contract sales, and that developed into being a family business. My uncle, J.D., mother's youngest brother, came out of the Second World War and went to work for my dad. He ran a retreading plant in Smithfield for a few years, and then they sold that, and he came back to Durham to work with my dad. My two brothers-in-laws, as they married into the family, they started working with the tire business, and when I completed college, I started to work. So they were all four of us working in the tire business, and we ran that business until my dad died in 1981, and we ran it for 2 more years, and I was the youngest, and some of the older of the 3 wanted to retire, so we sold the business to Merchants Tire and Rubber Company out of Manassas, Virginia, and we had 5 retail stores and a wholesale business. They bought it, and we all went into other businesses. We really don't. We think some of that information was captured in the family Bibles, but we don't
know
have any of the Bibles available now.
And you know about the information because
You lived it.
your parents lived so long that
That you talked about it.
yeah.